Hey y'all, welcome back to Let's Talk About with Courtney. I'm your host, Courtney Carroll, your licensed therapist in both Washington State and North Carolina. I am your connection coach, and I am so excited to be here. Y'all, I've had about a week plus off, and I am really glad I did. If this is your first time tuning in, I am so excited you're here. I will run over a couple of things like I do with every single podcast because you just never know what caught your eye to lean into this one, or it's your first time listen. But usually when you log into my podcast, I start out, of course, introducing myself like I just did. And usually there's like no pre-planned podcasts unless I have a guest on and we have an idea of what we're talking about, which I'm excited for spring. I have a ton of great ideas and people coming in. I just had this feeling the last 2 weeks, like, to take a little time off. I just got back from a vacation with a couple of my girlfriends to celebrate my friend getting married at the end of this month. And for whatever reason, I got this like intuitive thought, and I trust my instincts, is wait until May 1st to record. Take a break. And that's okay to take breaks. I am a single mom, if you're not aware, and I pretty much do everything on my own about 90% of the year. I'm a private practice owner. I'm a coach. I run all my social media. I do this for my audience for free at this point in time in hope that it helps. But what I was going to say earlier is usually I tell everyone, which by the way, you'll get what I'm saying. There's no teleprompter behind my camera and my ring light and all the things behind me. But typically, if you log in or listen to a podcast before, I don't really have much of an idea of what I want to talk about. I might meditate for 5 minutes or I use the theme of the week with my clients and what might help. And I typically try to record between Wednesday and Friday. And like I said, I specifically picked Friday, May 1st. One, if you are spiritual or believe in astrology at all, it is a full moon. And I'm pretty excited about that, because I just think of what a beautiful opportunity to kind of like let things fall as they may and kind of start anew, if you will, or like call in what you really want in life. And you don't have to be spiritual to believe in that. Believe it or not, a lot of people aren't. But it's also May 1st. It's a new month. And I just thought, like, you know what, starting May, maybe things will change a little bit. And a break was needed for me. Like I just said, I had a couple weeks where I've been months where it's been go, go, go and trying to fill in. I only want to put out content that will help. I never want to like film a podcast on a bad day or in a bad mood, or to put out anything that doesn't feel really good in my body or in my energy or whatever that is. But I kind of broke my whatever rules, and I know exactly what I want to talk about today. And I actually have a little like pieces. There's no teleprompter, but I'm going to read a couple things. And I kind of want to have your feedback. And well, I always want your feedback, first of all. Like, comment, dislike, let me know. And if this touches you and you do not have a therapist or a coach and you need help, or maybe like, hey, I want some more information, please DM me. If you are in Washington or North Carolina, waymarkcounseling.com is my private practice page. If you are outside of those states and need coaching, courtneycarroll.com. You can book and sign up there, or DM me. I'm on social media. Comment here. I will try and reach out to you. But let's go. So, I never really got into poetry before, and not because I'm against it. I guess as you like get older, like I don't look for it. But what I really like is when something finds me and resonates with me and keeps showing up in my life, I want to share it. And I want to first and foremost give credit where credit is due. I am not the writer of this. Her name is Emory Hall. She's incredible. Please like and follow her work. I will be tagging her on social media, so please don't comment that I'm not. I will literally comment, link, and even show you her page in my Instagram posts and wherever else I can put it. So again, I read this poem from Emory Hall, and it's called I Have Been 1,000 Women. And I really want to highlight before I go, whatever your gender is, please move that into women. Emory is a woman, and she's writing from her perspective, as I cannot speak for her, but that's my understanding, and I identify as a woman, so I'm going to speak to that as well. But if you're a man, please replace man. If you are any other, please fill in women and replace it to how you feel, because I do think this is gender neutral. Like, this could go for anything. So her title of her poem is called I Have Been 1,000 Women. And again, I wrote this out because I wanted to, and it's been really resonating with me, and I've actually shared it with a few clients this last couple months, and it's really making its way with me, and I'll get into it in a minute. All right. So again, Emory Hall wrote a poem, I Have Been 1,000 Women. And I'm going to look down and read, if that's okay with you guys. And it says, make peace with all the women you once were. Lay flowers at their feet. Offer them incenses and honey and forgiveness. Honor them and give them your silence. Listen. Bless them and let them be. For they are the bones of the temple you sit in now. For they are the rivers of wisdom leading you towards the sea. I have been 1,000 women. Lay flowers at their feet. Offer them incense and honey and forgiveness. Honor them and give them your silence and listen. It's beautiful. As a therapist and coach, and as a human that goes through life, there are so many times where I might resent a younger version of me, where I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda done something different. And as a grown adult at 36, I'll be 37 this summer, I sometimes judge the shit out of me when I was younger. And it makes me emotional because I'm like, why am I mean to this girl? And it's been really hard to separate the younger me versus who I am today. Who I am today, of course, would make different decisions than what I would at one point in my life. But sometimes I get stuck into, gosh, why didn't she leave that relationship earlier? Why did I believe this person? And if only I would have known. And I do this thing, if you're familiar with constellation practices, and if you're used to EMDR or even emotion-focused therapy, when I look over here because that's my chair and my computer over there. And when I'm in a session and we're working through trauma or working through an experience that we just can't let go of, I ask my client to visualize their younger self. I have them like, breathe in, take a deep breath. And sometimes this starts at 5 years old all the way until, a couple weeks ago. And we call in their younger self and ask what happened, what's going on, or what are they carrying trauma-wise. I know I can easily tell you right now, in the first year of my marriage, I'm divorced now if anyone has not listened to another podcast, but I found out my husband was cheating on me the first year. There was someone he was connected to from high school, and as well as a bunch of like Craigslist ads and different things and different attention spans where he was trying to get attention somewhere else. And again, this isn't about him at all. Like, this is about me. And I remember finding all this out, and I remember thinking, even going back further, if someone ever cheated on me, I would leave them. I would be out. And this I'm barely 24 at this time because we got married at 23. We're very close in age. And I go to her, I'm like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you divorce him then? We could have had such a different life. And there had been times in my life where I've been resentful for this girl at 24 who should know better and leave. And now, I like, as a therapist and someone that's actively in therapy, I was in therapy yesterday, y'all. I think of my 24-year-old self, and I call her in, just like I tell you to call in your younger self, whatever age that is, okay? Call her in and say, not say, I'm going to use the poem. I'm going to give her flowers. I'm going to lay flowers at Courtney at 24 years old feet. She loved her husband. She was raised in a church. She was raised in a Christian home where they don't believe in divorce. She thought she could change everything. This poor girl had a mom at 10 years old that had a secret family and hid a pregnancy and lied to her. And then when it came down to push comes to shove, she picked them over my biological siblings and I. I was so used to abandonment. And I loved my husband. And we were young. And I could be mad at her all day. I was a flight attendant. I had a lot going for me. I was confident, or at least at that point, I thought I had a lot of confidence. And I want to give her flowers and lay them at her feet. Thank you, younger Courtney, for seeing the good. Thank you for believing that people can change. Thank you, thank you, thank you for later when this comes again, and I'll call in Courtney at 25, when similar issues arise. And this time, no, it was, I'm sorry, you guys, this is, again, there's no teleprompter. At that age, in that year, I had originally started going to therapy. And after the infidelity happened, I brought in my husband at the time into my therapist and started couples therapy. If I hadn't gotten help that year, and if he hadn't hurt me and cheated, I wouldn't have been introduced to couples therapy. And fast forward, I think it was like about a year later, I wouldn't have been sitting across from my therapist talking about how I was lost in school and how like this nursing program wasn't what I thought it would be, or getting into pre-nursing. Sorry, it was never nursing school. And I remember her name. Actually, I'm not going to share names. I feel like that's rude. I would have to ask her permission. I was sitting with that same therapist that helped us through that, and she goes, "Have you ever thought about what I do for work?" I was like, "Me? A therapist?" And originally, a long time ago, I had, when I thought about social work or something, and it just didn't happen, and that's a whole other topic. And I really wanted to help military couples. I did. I'm like, and you guys, if that never happened, if I've never forgave my ex-husband at that time in our life, I would not be a therapist. So when I lay flowers at her feet and I visualize her coming into the room and I hand her flowers, or maybe if you're male, it doesn't have to necessarily be flowers. I kind of envision eucalyptus or like greenery or something like savory, I don't know, to lay at their feet, or to offer even just hand to hand and just say thank you. You made a tough choice there. And I know you're scared. Gosh, I was so scared. I'm like, am I really going to get divorced at 23? Could I learn to forgive him? What happens? And I thank her and I tell her, oh gosh, I'm like shaking, you can tell. Thank you for doing this. If it wasn't for you staying committed to your marriage, you would never be here. I specialize in couples and sex therapy. I've helped hundreds of couples. I have a beautiful daughter with this individual. And I'm grateful for this young girl who didn't run away to try to save her marriage. This can go back in so many chapters in your life. So many. I remember, again, I don't know if I've ever shared this. my childhood wasn't exactly great, especially before my stepmom came into our lives. And I was about 10 or 11 when she came in. And I remember like feeling forgotten a lot. And there was this birthday that I completely forgot about. And I was doing this training and like basically kind of like EMDR and like hypnotherapy. And I had a big memory come in, and now I want to call in that girl. I was 6 years old. My birthday's August 29th, the launch of my podcast. And I was sitting next to my neighbor, and my mom had gotten me red roses with baby's breath. And I remember telling my neighbor, oh, I feel so loved. I feel so cherished. Like, they must love me so much. My parents forgot about my birthday. And I think the day before I finally said something about it. And what's really hard is my mom's birthday, my biological mom's birthday is August 28th. And I think she was celebrated, but somehow I got forgotten. And in order to like do something, we didn't have a lot of money. My parents went and bought me, I'm assuming my mom did, bought me these red roses and baby's breath as an apology. And I'm in this little tiny body. I can still imagine it. I grew up in Parkland, Washington on this little stoop. And I was like bragging about it. And when I call on her energy to me, like she's bragging about flowers and she's forgotten. And when I think of her, I think I was 6. Yeah. And I think about her, and instead of judging her for lying, because I technically was to my neighbor, instead of thinking like how embarrassing or something, I kind of reach for her and I try, if I could, I'd like hug her, right? You can even do this if you are alone in your home. Like you can hug them. And then I'd hand her new flowers, maybe wildflowers, like sunflowers or something. I would hand them to her. And I would thank her for not letting being forgotten get to her, to know that she is loved. And I would tell her a little bit about future Courtney. And gosh, I'm gonna get emotional. I have the most beautiful daughter. And this sounds like an ego thing, but she's my twin. So when I envision 6-year-old, and my daughter just turned 5 in March, like we are twins, long curly hair, blue eyes. Y'all, her freckles are coming in. I'm so excited. And she's just like a mini me. And I envision, because my daughter's 5, I was 6 at this time, and I tell her, and I would tell young Courtney that we have a beautiful daughter. And because I went through this, I know how to be a good mommy. I never forget her birthday. Hazel has these amazing celebrations. And thank you for teaching me not to forget my kids, my daughter. I only have one for now, who knows. And I would just tell her, it gets a lot better. You're never forgotten again. And maybe you're like, what's going on here, Courtney? I'm not really keeping up. Those are just 2 examples of versions of myself where either, like as my younger self, I pretended like everything was okay. And I'm not saying my parents and my biological mom, who's now deceased, doesn't love me. Of course, I think she loved me the best way she could. But what I would tell myself or tell others to survive that. Or else, how does a 6-year-old like not feel? I can even imagine my daughter being forgotten on her birthday. It would devastate her. It devastates her if we can't go to the park if it rains. I can't even imagine. So I go to her and I think of my younger self, and I let her know, I'm like, because of this, you're a good mom. And that's just one example. And I hope you can keep up. This is only about a 30-minute segment. And I go to my 23-year-old, 24-year-old self in that first year of marriage, because I used to judge the shit out of her. Like, and I even had people ask me, like, you knew better. Like, why didn't you leave? Courtney, you're so much stronger than that. And the fact is, as a therapist that specializes in couples and sex and honestly infidelity and divorce, 90% plus of people try to work it out with infidelity. 90+%. And it's probably higher. they do stay. And I will refuse to be mad at me at any of the ages where I had found infidelity out to be mad at her. I loved my husband. That girl loved her man. That girl had core beliefs not to give up marriage. That girl had a baby with this guy, or she had a baby in her belly at one point when she found it out cheating. She wanted to have a family. I am never going to judge that girl again. I lay flowers. Even that example, I remember being pregnant and finding about some infidelity. I was 7 months pregnant. I would hand her flowers right now and thank her for staying. I had, almost 2.5, 3 years of beautiful family memories that if she would have left midst of COVID, packed her bags, gone back to Washington, her daughter wouldn't have been raised with her dad and have the beautiful relationship that they do. I lay flowers at her feet. I give her honey and incense and love. I do not judge that pregnant woman scared out of her mind on how to take care of her daughter on her own. I thank her. Thank you, 31-year-old Courtney, for staying, even though you were compelled to run. For staying for your daughter, who has a beautiful relationship with her daddy now. I lay flowers at her feet. I don't judge her. Not a bit. I thank her. Because it wasn't until I was, I'm going to be 37, 34, 35, something like that. You get the drift. Because of her and having those relationships and having those conversations and couples therapy and everything, the last time was the last time, because I made it clear that I wouldn't do it again for my daughter. That I would actually have to leave for my daughter. That it was my choice to leave a marriage that was no longer respecting me and being kind to me. It would have been so easy to stay. And I can't even tell you how many times I've said in couples or to individuals or even on this podcast, if love was enough, trust me, my marriage would have succeeded. And I give that girl flowers at her feet for believing in herself that I did all that I could to save this marriage, that it is time to separate and go. Because now I'm here. I'm here, and I thank that Courtney, and I tell her, look at you now. You're a single mom. You will end relationships that don't treat you well instead of staying in them like I have. I ended an engagement last year because I got even a sniff of bad treatment or not what I want, and I left. I was in marriage for 11 years on and off where there was infidelity and I didn't leave, and now I do. I have confidence in my future. I know everything will work out. Everything I've gone through, everything you have gone through, if you can look at it in two ways. I always say two. You can look at it and say God, I hate myself. Wish I would have done better. Or you can go to this side. Or I can make my past and what I've gone through to make me better. I can find purpose and redirection. Redirection. Every block, every inning, every, punch in the gut. We often get lost and of course we have to feel it, trauma and everything. Divorce sucks. Everything about that experience in my life was not fun. It was honestly debilitating in a lot of ways. I would not be in this chair sharing with you, sharing this beautiful, beautiful poem on how instead of judging, to heal myself, to heal those younger versions of me, to offer them love and incense and honey, and to move forward and know that I would not be the same person without that experiences. I would have never become a therapist without going to therapy. I would have never thought to use my childhood to become a better mom. I would have never thought that I had this feeling for so long. I must have been this weak girl that just couldn't leave a marriage. I was not weak. I was strong as shit, and so are you. You learn from every experience. And Emory Hall, like she said, you have been 1,000 women, 1,000 men, 1,000 of you. And you can look back and judge them, or you can love them. And know, even if right now in this moment is hard, and I can honestly attest to that, right now it's hard for me too. But I would not be a person of light and a person of love and person that can show up for you as my audience, share my very vulnerable stories and tell you I'm better for it. This is the work you can do. This is the work you can do. And there's one other book, I'm not going to go into detail. It's called The Awakened Brain by Dr. Lisa Miller. And I will tag her too. And she does a beautiful job about if you can experience, and I hope I get this right because I've listened to her book, I've read her book, I've listened to her on podcasts, Dr. Lisa Miller, on how she uses them like as light torches, experiences and everything you go through lights you up to the next way to get you on your path and where you to go. And I don't know why, but I feel really drawn to tell you, like, whenever you miss your exit on GPS, it never says you're blocked, you're fucked or anything. It redirects. So I challenge you at this moment in your life, and however you found this podcast episode, and maybe you're just going through it, and maybe when I read that poem, you're like, gosh, that's inspiring. I want to do that work. Or I'm going to look at this book from Dr. Lisa Miller called The Awakened Brain to see if that will help me too. I would not be the human I am today, the compassionate, generous person I am today, the mom I am today, if it wasn't for healing my past, recognizing that each part of my life had direction, and to trust and honor it. This has been such a, honestly, thrill to share with you today. I feel so inspired today. May is going to be beautiful. And if you are alone, again, please message me. And if I'm not the right fit, I have so many friends and colleagues that would be delighted to work with you. If you love the work, please come and follow these beautiful women and their work. I really encourage it. They've changed my life for the better. I can't even express to you how much. And to honor your space, and for the love of God, give yourself a break. Honor who you've been. They did not break you. They redirected you. Blocks can do that. And you are unstoppable if you accept that you can be. You have the ability to heal yourself. You have the ability to look at what you've gone through and get something out of it. I know I have. I am so honored to share this space with you. I am so thankful for the views, the listens, the comments, and the likes. It makes doing this so worth it. It's almost in August, it will be a year since I did this. And even when I take a week off, like last week, and I had guilt, I'm like, I can't give what I don't have. And there was once upon a time a girl that did. And because she did that, I don't do it anymore. Take breaks. Be kind to yourself. If you need a day off, do it. Forgive your younger self, for they did not know until you know now. And if you didn't learn it earlier in life, would you be the person you are today? Thank you for joining me. Happy full moon, happy May, and thank you so much. Until next time, y'all.